my computer.
I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Oconee County Planning Commission. This is Monday, May the 6th, 2019 at 6 p.m. Our first order of business is the invocation by our county chaplain, but he is not here.
You will not be attending this evening.
Miss Gwen, would you do our invocation, please?
Join me if you would, please. Our Heavenly Father, please oversee this meeting as we conduct it to the best possible of our ability for the benefit of the citizens of Oconee. Help us be wise in our decision-making and considerate of all people. In His name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Bassett, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We are at the public comment for non-agenda items. Mr. Tom Markovich.
Thank you. Good evening. For the record, Mr. Adams, my name is Tom Markovich. I just have a couple meeting comments on the meeting from 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. I still have heartburn with using USDA information when it comes to development. For one thing, I went back and looked at their definition of soils. I went to their site and looked up soils and various other things. Their concept of soils and my concept of soils as a builder is an entirely different thing. When I build a building, I don't build on top of soil. I have to go down through the soil. I have to go down to subsoil. And that's where my building ends up being setting. So this concept that buildings may or may not be able to be developed in an area because of certain types of soil, to me, is a misnomer. And evidently, whoever wrote that it was a good place to go to talk about soils, but it's not a good place to go if you're going to talk about development. Two, I thought it was interesting because there were the examples of the different types of introductions and whatnot for writing about the plan. And I did notice on some of the things such as statistics, just as Mr. Johnson suggested, not suggested, but mentioned that one of the statistics they had was that 70% of respondents felt a certain way about one thing. Well, those kind of statistics can sometimes misdirect. I mean, maybe there was only 10 people that responded. So you had a total of 7 people that ended up of one particular opinion, which means that's a very small data. I could equally say that for the most part, most of the time, I'm the only one that's present here except for the press. And you would say that 100% of the time, my opinion represented the public's input to this august delegation. Now, that's one person's input, but it'd be 100%. So I think sometimes we have to think about how we use some of these types of things. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, our next thing is approval of minutes from our meeting on 4/15/2019. They were all sent in backup material. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. I have a second. Any corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we're going into a comprehensive plan. Mr. Adam.
Certainly.
Anything you want to say?
So the first part of this would be public outreach. So we've conducted 3 meetings so far regarding the comprehensive plan outside in the districts. One of them was in this building. The other 2 were in various spots around the county. We have 2 more to go so far. We will schedule another couple around the county as we go. But so far, we've had pretty good turnout, really, for what a lot of places expect, a lot of places get as far as public turnout for these kinds of things. We've done a really good job of getting the word out. So all of y'all through your social medias and just talking to people, our newspaper and radio ads, I think, have really paid dividends in getting the word out. Because even people who are ardently against government are like, I knew about that. Like, I've gotten emails from people who are like, yeah, I don't like government, but yeah, I heard about this, so we appreciate that. Moving on, we did put some of these inserts in the newspaper. We've now done 2. We're working on our 3rd one. The first one had a survey in it for population housing. That's included in your backup material. And as Mr. Markovich correctly pointed out here, and Mr. Johnson spoke to, this is not a scientific or statistically relevant survey. This was a broad net that was thrown out, and the people who chose to respond responded. So this should be looked at as a conversation and not as this is the facts of the matter. This is just happens to be the number, around the 300 people responded to us, and these are 300 people's thoughts and opinions. So just as Mr. Markovich just alluded to, it's not scientifically accurate, but it is, but 300 people said something, and that means something. So this is what 300 people said. You know, just, we threw in some random facts there about age and where they live. This is, you know, we did by zip code, and then I just translated the zip codes into kind of, I don't know how familiar everyone is here with zip codes. So I just go ahead and did cities. Seneca has 3 different zip codes. That's why there's Seneca's mentioned 3 times. You know, someone from Pickens County, someone from North Carolina responded. So it shows that people from outside of this area probably own some houses here. That'd be a good thought. Live and work status. I did, and I profusely apologize for the live and work status. I put a question in there that I forgot to address retirees. So we fixed it online, but not in the paper version. So I live and work in Oconee County. I live in Oconee County, but work outside the county. I live in Oconee County and am retired. So of about 300 people, we got about 70, 75 that are retirees. That's just, these are the stats that we picked up from this. And this information will compile into a kind of a meta one whenever we get all of our different surveys done. But these really would be good for driving conversations if you all are going to look at to present goals, to create goals, to say, okay, 300 people said, you know, I consider living in downtown, or no, I would not consider living in downtown. That's just something that you all should keep in mind when presented with the other facts and figures. Housing type, overwhelmingly single family. That's not a big shocker here. But there are manufacturing homes comes in second. Manufactured homes, I'm sorry, comes in second. So all these, if you'll just kind of take the time to look through them and keep them back of your head when we're going through here. Okay, well, 300 people that chose to responded in this manner. What monthly payment can you afford for housing? We get the whole spectrum here, from under $250 to over $1,000. So we have a broad range of economic types, which is not uncommon in the world at all. Do you think Oconee County more affordable housing is needed? 12% of the people said no. A bunch said yes. Once again, just 300 people. It's not statistically relevant, but it is important that people chose to speak. Housing needs, SFAM is single family. That was just because of the way it was put in there. This graph needs to be cleaned up, and I will clean up. I do apologize. Future housing growth will occur. Where do y'all think it's going to occur? I think Mr. Johnson probably has a good handle on that. But overwhelmingly, we gave people the ability to answer multiple answers to this. That's why there's so many answers to it. But Seneca's the winner by far as in this popularity contest. So yeah, I just hope that you all take a moment to look at these and kind of toss them around when you're making some decisions. Sir?
Back up, you've got two that say around lake.
It cut off when it went in here. One's around Lake Hartwell, one's around Lake Kiwi.
Okay.
Lake Jocassee doesn't have much room for development.
You had two that mentioned tiny houses. Is that a similar situation?
That was just the way it was. One was tiny homes, one was tiny homes apostrophe. That was just a Scribner's error on this part. Manufactured, multifamily retirement. It's just the way it was placed in there. So, but I'll clean this one up.
It's 200 square feet.
Right. So Kiwi and Hartwell. And Madison. So hey, there you go. Go Madison. All right, senior housing, we asked the question as well, and we need it all over, basically, is what people seem to be saying, but that's just a look at it. So this is the results of the survey. I have the data, and this is this is where people put stuff in. Now this runs the whole gamut from we need a Best Buy to we need bike lanes. This just allows your people to look at. Now this is included in your material that I sent out, as I believe is probably the last page. So once again, this is just one people or 300 people's individual opinions about stuff. But I think there's some really good themes you can pick up on here. A lot mention education, employment, and shopping and entertainment venues. Those are kind of the big takeaways if you kind of back them out.
And water parks.
I believe someone did mention a water park or a splash pad. I'm not 100% certain, but yes, a water park was mentioned. So yeah, we got lots of comments, and these are good stuff. I mean, if you all just kind of pull us off and start looking at them individually as we get them, you'll notice there's some broad themes to them.
They took it out.
So if y'all don't have any other questions or comments about it, that was our first survey, and I'll have some more for you shortly.
Okay, let's move into the executive summary.
I guess that would be me.
Mr. Mike.
Back with the executive summary, I'm going to start out here and just make a very simple motion because I don't think that we've really resolved the issue. I make a motion to create an executive summary, period. I don't think we've ever really resolved that question.
I'll second that.
Open it up to discussion.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion in the matter? Mike, explain what you're talking about.
An executive summary is really an advertisement for the county. And you have to ask yourself, who are the users of this executive summary? The average person is not going to pick up a 350-page comprehensive plan and sit down and read through it. An executive summary will give him a snapshot of where the county is going to go or hopes to go in the next 10 years, particularly used by businesses, and be it manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, recreational, or retirement. Those are the people that would use it. Not necessarily an individual who is buying a house here for the first time or just moving here. He'll depend on his realtor and maybe some talking to some neighbors. But it's generally a business type, an advertisement. And they're usually very short, and they have various components like priorities, how do you measure the effectiveness of what they've been doing, and topics like that. It is not a paragraph by paragraph summation of what is in the comprehensive plan. It's usually about 10 pages long, something like that, with pictures and usually some graphs.
So you're just wanting to create one on your own and then present it to planning as part of the plan? I mean, that we would vote on, obviously, but,
I'm not creating it, I'm just.
oh, okay.
No, I'm just saying, really, do we want to create a comprehensive plan or have it created? I'm not creating
Summary.
it.
So, yeah, this motion was just
A
to
yes or
say
no
yes
vote.
or no, whether we want to
create-
have an
To have
executive
an,
session.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I
Not
was
who's gonna
confused by,
prepare it, but just,
okay.
are we wanting one in our comprehensive plan?
Okay,
So,
That's the whole idea,
okay.
Alex.
any further discussion?
I'm in favor, and I think it's a good tool. I think, like corporate executives are gonna look at it, and if it tickles their interest, they'll have their staff read the whole comprehensive plan. Okay, but you're not gonna find many serious executives that are gonna go through the whole comprehensive plan.
No.
So the motion was you're making a motion that we do an executive summary?
Period,
Whether we want one or not.
yeah, whether
We
you
do an
want one or
exec-
not.
Okay.
So I'm in favor of one, but I don't remember, so if we set up to vote, are we voting yes, we want an executive summary, or versus no, we don't want an executive summary?
Right.
Okay.
We'll be free to refine what an executive summary is
And
as we go along.
Well, I was gonna get into that in the next motion.
Okay, we have the motion and second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of executive summary, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we will have an executive summary. Mr. Mike?
Okay,
you
that
again.
gets us over the first hurdle. Now, last meeting we had, I made a rather lengthy motion about creating a subcommittee or a committee to develop a format for the executive summary. And that was kind of long, and it included the members. This time, I'm not. I just want to read this to you. I make a motion to create a committee to develop an executive summary format and general topics with review by the Planning Commission as work progresses. The committee to be selected by the Planning Commission in a separate action, period.
Okay, that's your motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
We would just want to make sure that subcommittee or committee is made up of 3 or less members so that we don't create a quorum.
Absolutely. Let me go into the positive side of this. The positive side is we are coming up with a format to help Adam and Orion along as to what we're looking for. We're not going to be doing the actual writing, the committee, just the general topic areas, going into some photographs or some graphs, just picking out some general areas that we're interested in and letting them come back periodically to show us the progress we have or to the committee, and then the committee coming up here to the commission and saying, okay, this is where we are, and this is what they proposed, and we think this or that, or we support this or that. What do you think? In other words, the final decision is up here with the 7 members. And generally, what this will do is it will speed things along. If we, the 7 members, get involved in trying to pick the general topic areas or the general format, we can expend a lot of time. Whereas if we can delegate this, hopefully it'll be much more efficient and move forward at a greater speed. People usually do this with this type of a program just to speed the process up. Again, the final decision will be made by the 7 members. The people that are on the committee will get to vote too. So if we have 2 or 3 people from this commission that are on that committee, they'll be able to vote also.
Adam, do you have a problem with if we do the committee advertised in the meetings and how will we keep the minutes of the meeting?
So, even if you all don't have quorum, we'll still advertise it as a public meeting, doing sunshine, like operate in the sunshine. It wouldn't necessarily have to be YouTubed, live streamed, but it would be open to the public. There's no issue as far as taking minutes and things of that nature, because the plan itself will inherently be the minutes at the end of the day. But it would be open, so if anybody wanted to come and sit in and hang out, they're certainly, of the public, they'd certainly be welcome to. But yeah, there's no issue as far as advertising goes.
So we have a motion. We have a second on his motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Alex and I have talked.
Well, motion carries.
Okay, now, speeding right along, we need to come up with who is going to be on this commission. And I will wonder, should we invite one member from the county council to be on this committee? Just think about that as we move forward here. Would anybody be so bold as to volunteer to be on that committee? Or should we nominate somebody who's not here?
You're not here, you get recruited to be on the committee.
Let me carry this one step further. I would imagine that this would not meet very frequently, but we would do it, say, at 30 or 40 minutes before this 6 o'clock meeting. It would be convenient if it works out for Adam, and we could get our business done at that point. Adam would be the conduit between the commission and Orion, and he would be the one that would work in between or be the middleman. But we need at least 2 volunteers, and one person's not here.
I will volunteer if you can arrange it such that the meetings would fall on the evenings.
You would volunteer?
Yes, sir.
I would like to volunteer too. That's 2 of us. Does anybody else want to volunteer? Alex, you want to volunteer?
I'm good, I've got enough.
Anybody else? Okay, Gwen. Do we have to vote on this, Mr. Chairman?
It would probably be a good idea to vote. Somebody make a motion to.
I'll make a motion that the 2 committee members be Gwen McPhail and Mike Smith.
I'll second that. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So there we have a committee to get this executive summary discussed and hopefully completed here shortly.
And if this doesn't sail well, I guess that means that we get our sails cut. Is that right, Gwen?
Yes, sir. Dock our pay.
If I may, sir. Since we have everyone here and since Press Whatnot is here, do you want to go ahead and set the first meeting date of your committee? Because you both are here and everyone's here, and it would just make sense. So do you want to go ahead and set those meetings to be, at least the first one to be that in front of the next planning commission meeting, which would be
That's fine with me.
the 20th?
Will that fulfill all the legal requirements that we need, Adam? Or do we need to delay it?
I'll tentatively say yes, but since you're not forming a quorum, it's not a public hearing per se, we'll tentatively say yes, and if it has to change, I'll change it. But I'll figure it out in the morning. So we'll say the 20th at 5.
How about 5:30? How about that? 5:30? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 5:30.
In the conference room?
conference room would be great if David Roots thinks that that's the way we can do it without the,
Sure.
yeah. All right,
So I'll go-
5:30.
So 5:30 on the 20th in the conference room.
Okay, thank you.
Some of us have reviewed some of the other counties' executive summaries. I would like to ask that you all, maybe in one of your meetings, seek input as far as some of the things that we have liked or disliked about some of those, as you all move forward, just taking from the committee as a whole.
Absolutely. I think there were two executive summaries that seemed to come to the top of the pile. I looked at about 50 of them all total. And one of them was from Decatur, Alabama, and the other one was from Savannah, Georgia. I talked to the lady that at the planning department for Decatur, Alabama. And it was very, very interesting how they did theirs, et cetera, et cetera. I won't waste the time now to go into it, but it was very interesting. And the one from Savannah has a lot of good, strong points.
Okay, our next one is, old business. I think this is sort of old business because it's a recurring thing that happens every year. We do have to have a class every year, and we have one Tuesday, May the 14th, 2019 at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 12:30. It fulfills our 3 hours of continuing education requirements, and it'll be here, correct, Adam?
Depending on the number of people, either be in this room or in the conference room. I've reserved both.
And this is mandatory that everyone attend. It's not just if you want to or not. Everybody needs to attend it.
Everyone needs the credit hours. We may have other opportunities in the
okay,
future of the year, but everyone needs the 3 hours for us to stay legal. This one just seems to be the least painful, as opposed to driving to Greenville or another location.
That's what I meant.
Is this the one that you sent out the email about?
I did send an email. I
Choice
believe
one? So if you've
you
got
and
it-
Ms. Lyles replied. So if any of you have the opportunity, I've already signed you all up, just by the way. I've also signed up the entire Board of Zoning Appeals, because it doesn't cost anything for me to sign you up. It's whoever actually attends who we get charged for. So if you can make it, I've already signed you up, and it'd be great, because otherwise, the next one may be in, well, maybe in Walhalla or maybe in Greenville. I mean, I don't know. This just seems.
It's kind of like next week.
And Mr. Pearson volunteered to buy coffee for everyone, so that's.
Yeah, there'll be a coffee machine right back there.
This paper states that you can attend via the internet. Is that acceptable?
You can attend by the internet as long as you come to the thing. The rest it says you have to be part of it's show up. So it's remote broadcast, but it's remote broadcast you have got to show up for in here as a group. But Mrs. McPhail came to the last one and she enjoyed it
I'm
thoroughly.
not gonna be here.
You sign you up?
Okay, so, we have any new business?
Oh, actually,
Oh,
this is our new office manager, Vivian Compere. She will she'll fill in if one of us can't make it, and here.
speech.
Everybody else pushes it away, so I can too, right? Hi.
You'll see her around.
All right, if we don't have any further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, right here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Wow. That was the quickest meeting I've ever seen.
That is a record.
27
That is a record.
I'm building y'all up for next week.
Yeah.